Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Wes Duncan joins us. He's the Sparks City Attorney, and he's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed Northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. Enough, in fact, to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food. It's a good time to eat. Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good time's a tamarack.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome back to the program Wes Duncan. He is the Sparks City Attorney. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
You're very welcome. You know, one of the biggest problems that one sees in the Bay Area, for example, and certainly throughout California, is the homeless situation. And it seems to just be getting worse and worse, and they're putting tons and tons of money into it. But still, these homeless camps are huge. And you know, for me as a tourist to California, because I don't have business there, it's off-putting. I really don't want to travel there. And it concerns me when I see what's going on with Reno Sparks. But on the other hand, it seems like we are doing a lot to head this off at the pass, as it were. You want to share some of the things that you've been working on and what the City of Sparks is working on?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think many people in our community share those same concerns. And you know, one of the things from our office perspective, you know, in our vision statement, we envision a Sparks that's every neighborhood is safe for every member of our community, whether you're a business or you're a family. So just this past week, myself and the Sparks Police Department initiated some new ordinances to deal with some of the homeless issues that we've been facing in our community. You know, I think Sparks does it right in the sense that we have a HOPE team. We have a team of dedicated police officers who deal solely with the homeless. And their first order of business, their first priority is always to try to connect them to services. So we have this team that is trying to compassionately connect the homeless to services, But what they were seeing is that many of our homeless, who they've encountered over and over again, sometimes 3-4 dozen times, when there's a resistance to that helping hand to services, and that resistance is causing an impact to public health or public safety, they were asking for more tools to be able to enforce the law. You know, what I think we see in many of these cities across the nation is that there is not an enforcement of the law, and that's at the expense of public health and public safety. So I'll give you an example. Over the last year, we've had 8 RV fires from people living in their RV. We've had 120 cooking or warming fires. That's dangerous, right? We had one warming fire in a public alley that caught the fence of a homeowner on fire. That fence caught on fire, and then their home caught on fire. And so now that person, instead of being maybe cited for having a warming fire in a public right-of-way, is now being caught up in the criminal justice system with a felony arson case, plus the impact to the homeowner with filing insurance, and also the fact that it's just flat out dangerous. You're sleeping in your bed at night and all of a sudden your house is on fire because a warming fire has gotten out of control. And the other thing is this, is we live in northern Nevada and we know the impact of wildfires, for example, the Calder fire and all these different fires that have impacted our region. We know that if a fire gets out of control, you can burn up a community and cause a lot of different damage. And so we want to ensure in the city of Sparks that we're being compassionate. I think we do that right, but that we're also enforcing the law. And one of the things that I said is that, and you mentioned San Francisco, is that it's my goal as a city attorney to not let Sparks become San Francisco or these other big cities that don't enforce the law at the expense of public health and public safety.
All right, you're very well up on constitutional rights. And so if I present the other side of the argument, I'd like you to address it, which is that there are people who don't want to accept services. They have a multitude of reasons why they don't want to accept those services. And what rights do people have to not come under these systems?
Well, look, people can make those type of decisions for themselves, but here's the problem, Sam, is that when you are making those decisions and a resistance to services or a decision that you want to remain homeless in the community, and then those decisions are impacting public safety, for example, warming fires, generators. On the river, we were seeing hundreds of hypodermic needles. We were seeing refuse and trash and people urinating and defecating in our drinking water, right? When your decisions start impacting public health and public safety, you have to enforce the law. We can continue to compassionately reach out to people within our community and try to connect them to services. We live in a really big-hearted community in the city of Sparks. I think nobody wants to see people homeless. But people living, businesses, families also expect that their fence isn't going to get on fire or that their drinking water isn't going to be tainted. And so, you know, you have to strike the right balance in the community. The other thing is this, is that the mission of the HOPE team isn't going to suddenly cease because we've passed more of these ordinances. It actually gives our HOPE officers more tools because you know, if you're blocking a public sidewalk, for example, you're living in your RV and then you have all of your belongings on a sidewalk, and the normal passage of traffic, people walking on the sidewalk now have to go out into the traffic, come back over. You're impacting the lives of other people. The HOPE team can now say, look, you having the sidewalk is blocked. It's now a crime. We want to connect you again to services. We don't want to have to cite you and let the criminal justice system try to funnel you into these services, but it gives them the tools to be able to do so. We like to handle things at the lowest possible level. We want to connect you to services if you're homeless without using the criminal justice system. However, again, when there's a resistance to those services and it's making an impact on public health and public safety, you can use the criminal justice system as a tool to try to rehabilitate people and get them connected. We have a great partnership with the Reno Community Court, and oftentimes our HOPE officers will not even arrest someone, they will cite someone. That person then appears at court, they try to get them connected to services, and try to get them the help that they need.
Okay, so as far as the justice system goes, then that they are continuing once you have done as much as you can do, but it now becomes a criminal offense. The justice system is now, or the court system, I should say, is looking to continue to try to get people out of being in a situation of being cited and into these services. And then what happens if they are not willing to do that?
Well, so certainly if they are cited into community court and the court puts they find them guilty or they plead guilty, or sometimes they'll plead guilty, but if you complete a program at the end of the case, your case will be dismissed. If they are in that process and they decide to not follow through on the conditions or requirements that a court has imposed upon them, well, of course, there are consequences for that, right? It could be probation, it could be jail time, it could be whatever the court has imposed as a suspended sentence. But again, the goal is not to just arrest your way out of homelessness. The goal is to meet people where they're at, meet them with compassion, connect them to services. If they're resistant to that, you have to do the other side of the coin, and that is enforce the law.
Okay, Sheriff, when he was Sheriff Lombardo, as against being Governor Lombardo, which he is of course now, he instituted a program, one of several across the country, with Las Vegas Metro, of where he divided out mental health services from regular 911 calls. So if it was a mental health situation, there were people there to be able to deal with that. Are you doing something similar to that with the city of Sparks?
Well, of course, there's the number that you can call, but we've actually taken a more proactive approach that we have mobile outreach safety team members, right? So not only do we have our HOPE team, who is cultivating, building a relationship with our homeless populations, try to build our relationship, try to get them connected to services. We also have what are essentially mental health counselors that are on our shifts with our officers. They're called mobile outreach safety team members. And so if they respond to a call and they clearly see this is someone that's exhibiting signs of mental illness, instead of having a law enforcement officer intervene, unless that person is causing, again, public health or public safety problem, that person will intervene, try to talk to them, again, try to get them connected to services. Again, we have compassion for folks that are suffering from these things in our community, but I think the public also expects, like, compassion can't be overweighed by public health and public safety when people's lives are being impacted in the community.
One of the things that I find interesting are the spots around town, and this is, it's all over the state, it's all over the country. But for example, Costco is a favored spot for panhandlers to be standing on the corner, and you see them people trading off. So one person has it from X amount of time to X amount of time, then the next person comes along. Is this a business? Is this a sustainable business? Is this a business that people are running without it being, quote, an official business, but one that makes them money? And if they're making money, how much money do you make panhandling like that?
Well, certainly. I mean, we see that issue in every community. One of the ordinances we just passed deals with the actual panhandling or soliciting donations from a roadway. So one of the things
I've noticed that on Sparks Boulevard.
Yeah.
For
So
example.
one of the things that we've been seeing, and again, there's a danger to the community. There's a danger not only to the person soliciting the donation, but also a danger to drivers. We've seen people coming out into the roadway when there's green lights and different things like that. So we passed an ordinance that says if you're obstructing traffic or somehow endangering traffic or endangering yourself, you can be cited for that, because we've seen an uptick in near misses and people almost being hit by cars because they're out in the roadway trying to solicit a donation. I think one of the things that we want to do as a community is we want to help people and get them into places where they're not having to panhandle. They feel like they're just making enough money to get by so they can remain homeless. Trying to, again, connect to services so that people don't have to engage in those type of activities. But again, if you're engaging in those type of activities and they're impacting safety, the city of Sparks is not going to tolerate that.
Okay, but I guess going back to my original point was, are people actually making a living from doing this panhandling? I mean, is it a profitable venture? Because it seems like if you're in a high traffic situation and there are a ton of people giving you money, is this a profitable business that's not getting taxed?
Well, to the last question, of course it's not getting taxed, but second of all, look, if you're receiving any other sort of government assistance and you're panhandling, your expenses can be, fairly low continuing to be homeless, and it is sustaining people in our community. But the question is sort of what standard of living, again, it's sustaining you still being unhoused and being homeless. And so I think for our community, we want to see people not having to live in those type of situations.
And I want to make the point so that people don't think that I'm a heartless individual. I think that Reno, Sparks, and Washoe County are spending an incredible amount of money, which means the citizens of Reno, Sparks, and Washoe County are spending an incredible amount of money to do their best to help people who are down on their luck, who are the unfortunate, especially women and children. And so it's not like there isn't a substantial effort underway to help folks who have found themselves in these circumstances. It's just that, as you point out, there are lots of other circumstances that are problematic, and these people don't want to get into the help here.
Well, to your point, I mean, if you contact the CARES campus will take, they'll take a snapshot in time and they'll look at, well, how many open beds are there? Well, I looked just the other day. We're averaging about 22 to 23 open beds a night at the CARE campus. So for people that are experiencing homeless and who are homeless, there are places for them to be sheltered at night. But what our HOPE officers are encountering is that a lot of times the homeless that are chronically homeless or resistant to services do not want to be a part of that because there's certain conditions or restrictions. And so, those are things that we need to continue to work on. I think why the HOPE ordinances are important is because that gives our officers another tool to try to intervene, to try to connect people to services.
And I know one of the areas which Noah's Animal House is trying to accommodate is people with pets, especially women with pets that can't take those pets into their shelters. Services like Noah's Animal House are terrific in terms of enabling people to be right next door to where their animals are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love my dog as much as the next person, and we have communities who, you can't bring your animal into a shelter, right? Well, that's a big deal. You have other folks who have to abide by certain, curfews, or perhaps if they're suffering from a substance abuse problem, they're not able to do drugs, right? So there's different things that and different reasons why some of our homeless are resistant and not wanting to be sheltered. But I think in a community like ours, with a goal of eradicating homelessness within our community, we've got to continue to try to provide those services, continue to try to connect them, and use all the tools that we can to do so.
All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back after this timeout.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Wes Duncan. He is the Sparks City Attorney. One of the items we have on our list to talk to you about was senior scams. And I, as a senior, want to mention one that almost happened to me yesterday. I get a phone call, somebody asking me, the thing came up on my phone, said Visa emergency. And the person starts asking me if certain credit card charges on my ATM card were valid and has my name, has the first 6 digits of my card, and they're starting to push down the road here. Now, I'd gone through this a couple of years ago, and it got to the point in the conversation where somebody actually asked me for my social security number. That's when I went, whoa, you're asking for too much information. I got off the phone with them, and I called the number on the back of my card. They said, no, there's not been any problems with your ATM card. If they only had the first 6 numbers of your card, the odds are that it's not going to be a problem. Just watch the account. What other senior scams are going on right now?
Well, that's a perfect example of that. I mean, we see everything from romance scams to seniors being called up and someone identifying them from a certain government agency, whether it's the IRS, whether it's the Nevada DMV, whether it's Medicaid or Medicare. We've seen one that just recently popped up where a couple got a call from a number that was their elderly mother's cell phone number. The person on the other line said, I have your mom kidnapped and you need to send me X amount of dollars right now or I'm going to kill her. And they were so alarmed, and this is a young couple, they go to our church actually, they were so alarmed that they called the police, they jumped in the car at 6 in the morning, raced down to the house. Of course, she was asleep in her bed and everything was fine. But we are seeing a level of sophistication, having a lot of information, cloning a cell phone number from a family member, taking the digits from an ATM card. And so fraudsters are being more sophisticated. We've seen the amount of senior fraud since March of 2020 almost double. And so one of the things that I'm passionate about is trying to be proactive in our city, not only for solving legal issues that impact city departments, but also being proactive for legal issues that affect people within our community. And so, the best way to protect yourself against fraud and scams are to be informed and armed with information. So, for example, in your case, you absolutely did the right thing. You don't give out any kind of personal information. You don't send people money. You don't give them your social security number. You hang up the phone. You call your bank. If it's from the IRS or from the Nevada DMV or anything like that, you actually call that entity and you're finding the number, you're making the call. What we're seeing is these fraudsters are creating fear and urgency on the other end of the line. We had another scam just recently where an elderly woman was on her computer and all of a sudden this box popped up and basically said, like, you have a virus. You need to call this number immediately or this virus is going to take over. She was alarmed. She called the number. She gets on the line with a guy who's suddenly saying, hey, the only way we're going to fix this is if you send us money and do all these different things. She actually was so fearful for it, she actually sent them gift cards in the form of money. And so if anyone's requesting to be paid in the form of gift cards or anything like that, a light bulb should definitely go off in your head that's a scam. But we're just seeing an attack on all different things, from emails to text messages to phone calls.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We have to take one more to make some money here, and it's not illegal, I promise you. We'll be right back.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
7 at 7 is a newscast built for your smartphone. It's a 7-minute newscast available every weekday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at lvrj.com. We don't waste your time, and we give you the day's top stories.
We at the RJ have noticed some similarities between us and a certain BTS character, RJ.
Plus the latest in Las Vegas business, weather, health, and entertainment news. 7 at 7 streaming now on your smartphone.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
It's the $100,000 Cash is King Progressive giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Giveaways every Saturday with a Progressive up to $20K and $15,000 in guaranteed grand prize giveaways. There's another 100,000 reasons to play and win at the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Wes Duncan, the Sparks City Attorney. Last thoughts on this senior scam business?
Well, so we have an exciting partnership with the Better Business Bureau where we're teaming up. Better Business Bureau is the gold standard in terms of prevention. So we've teamed up with them, and we're going to be getting out in our senior communities, everything from senior living facilities to senior fairs to we're doing one of our first events at the Sparks Library to get out the word, to arm seniors with information to protect themselves against senior scams. You know, these are folks who've worked hard and they've either created a nest egg or they're living on a fixed income, and so the City Attorney's Office wants to do everything that they can to protect them in the City of Sparks.
And that's where we have to leave it. Thank you, sir. Always appreciate you being
Thanks,
here.
Sam. Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can always watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day by downloading the audio or video podcast, watching us on YouTube, or just go to the website, NevadaNewsmakers.com. We'll see you on the next broadcast.